What up, though? I told you. Welcome to another afternoon or early evening. What is this? It's like early evening, afternoon. What is it?
In the afternoon.
It's still afternoon, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, welcome to an afternoon, special afternoon version of Notoriously Opinionated. It's your man, Scraplo, Scrapadocious, aka Negus the God. I got a whole bunch of names, bro.
I
You know what I'm
see.
saying? I wouldn't even have done.
Damn.
I wouldn't even have done. My partner, my partner said that it's impossible for me not to have a name for an emotion or a situation that I find myself in.
I could dig that.
But all of them gotta mean it, man. So the people know who I am, man. Tell the people who you are, even though I talk about your ass all the time. Who are you, man?
I'm just Jay, Johnny Waller Jr. Shit, community organizer, executive director, business owner in the Kansas City community.
So executive director of what?
Second Chance Organized People Empowered, Scope. Community
Scope.
organizer for Moore Square, Metro Organization. Oh shit, Metro Organization, MOR, for racial equity.
Bro, you just said it like 10 times yesterday.
I know, right? I don't know what just happened.
Yeah,
The owner
hey,
of the JLW group. Yeah, that's me.
JLW Group. What's that?
It's my LLC. That's actually my store. So I own an online store. You can find me in Walmart,
That's
eBay,
that's a J store, right?
the J store online. That's right.
That's what's
Come
up.
get all
Hey,
your jewelry products, jewelry cleaner, all that good stuff.
come pick it up, man. Hey, this dude is the hardest working dude in Kansas City, bro. Like my man is a one stop warehouse. I
Oh,
got
for sure.
man. I'm talking about man. So any of your jewelry cleaning needs, any jewelry that you need, holla at my man. J Store. Uh, but let's get into it, man. You did. Let's get it. So my my thing that I've been on here recently is people talking about their dreams of doing this and their dreams of doing that. And it's like me and you was rapping about the other day. The the dream is free. You did. The dream is free, but the desire to go get it, the the determination, the drive, you know, all that so separately, you know.
Oh, for sure.
So that's just kind of how I feel, you know. And I'm real big on proving people wrong because it's a lot of people that felt like, uh, oh man, he ain't gonna never be shit. He ain't he's he's an ex felon. He's a gang member. He's all these different things. He's done all these different things, and he's never going to produce anything that is going to be fruitful to the community. And uh, I know the two of us have gone down the road proving everybody wrong.
Oh, yeah. That's what motherfuckers do.
Tell the people about yourself, though, man. Who is Johnny Waller before we get into so give us a summary of who Johnny Waller is, and then we're gonna jump right into it.
So basically, I'm just a guy who was a former drug dealer, gang member, went to the penitentiary.
I thought you was gonna say that shit you said last time, man. I'm just a guy that did some things.
That's normally what I be saying though, but I'm gonna drop a little bit.
All right.
So, and then a guy who went to college, owned a couple of businesses, and helped the community. So I've been on both sides of the fence. I got I got as many felony convictions as I got degrees.
That's what's up. And I can attest to that. I've seen them on the wall.
Oh yeah. Education is important. So Yeah, it's been a journey, but I'm doing my thing, trying to help other people do their thing. That's it. Like we got to build each other up. Can't keep tearing each other down. So
That's one of the uh, unfortunate setbacks of slavery, of Jim Crow, of the Willie Lynch syndrome. All that turns into now we feel like we can't help our own. You know,
oh,
uh,
for sure.
that's but at the same time, it's like who can you blame? It's like is the blame firmly on us? Is the blame on on everybody else? Like who is the blame on?
Yeah, and so this question comes up a lot when I'm talking to people, and so at this point the blame is on everybody. It's not just. It's one of those things to where. So for people who don't know, go read Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. So Mary Shelley wrote that book, and if you look at Frankenstein, he's a combination of all the pieces that created a monster, and that's kind of what happened. Like during that era, from slavery to the Civil War to Reconstruction to Jim Crow to the 1964 Civil Rights Act and everything that's occurred since, all of these pieces was put into play to create what's going on today. And so back then it was their fault, and all we do now is perpetuate the situation that they put us in
Right.
ourselves. So everybody's pretty much to blame for it. Like I don't even go around. I used to be one of them people to say, it's the white people's fault. But now that I got this far, I realized that I was my own worst enemy. Like the shit that I did to myself and my own people was as bad or worse as the white folks. Like I'm just doing it. I'm shooting at you to shoot at you, rob you, whatever, take your shit, slap you, whatever the hell the case may. Breaking. I broke in my partner. Listen, I broke in my partner house one day on some stupid shit with some of my other partners from the hood. They come back, they call the police. I'm out helping him like, oh, you see them footprints? And I'm the one that broke in his shit. I'm helping him look for
Try
the
to
robber, and I was the robber.
you trying to help him solve the crime that you committed.
Yeah, like type of shit is that?
That's that juice shit. You know what I'm saying? That's like what
Yeah,
happened in juice.
yeah. So these are real life issues, but once you understand that this situation was created for you by other people, but you continue to perpetuate it, and then it's pretty much that you could try to figure out to do something different. Once you get out your own way, it makes it a lot easier. Because right now, this ain't like it was back in the day. So you got an opportunity to go to school, to get a decent job. You got a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things. The people don't start fucking with you till you start inching inching towards that top, and then
Right,
you find some doors closed on you,
right,
or if you at the very bottom of the run. But that's some social economic shit that we could solve some of our own issues if it wasn't like, that nigga Jay got a bunch of gold chains, I want to rob that nigga, instead of thinking like, hey, that bro, he own a business. Maybe he can help me own a business.
right,
Cause I'm gonna
right,
put you on. Cause I want everybody to have some money. Like when I was hustling, I wanted everybody to have some money. Now that I'm legit, I still want everybody to have some money. I'm gonna fuck
straight
with
up, straight up. I mean, that's how it's supposed to go, though. You know, it's supposed to go. Uh, if I eat, I want my people to eat too. You know, I just like them is like them is that math that goes on in prison. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you in a multi-man tank, right? You in a multi-man tank and you in there with your partners, you know, you done set it up to where you got four more of your partners in the tank with you.
you.
Everybody in there gonna eat. You're not just gonna sit up and eat by yourself and your dudes is over there starving. Nah, we all gonna eat. You know, even if I don't got nothing but a little bit, we gonna split up this little bit. We all gonna have some. You know, it's no different. But the mass on the streets. That's what I got a partner named Terry, right? Him and my nephew KJ, they came down a couple weeks ago, right? Terry came down from Colorado. KJ came down from Wichita. Shout out to TG and KJ. But we was talking about this, right? We was talking about the the political mathematics in prison versus the political mathematics and how it changes, you know, into some Decepticon looking symbols when you get home. It's like I don't even understand that. That shit don't make no sense to me. In prison, it's simple. It's 1 + 1 = 2. You know. Then you get home and the math changes, and it's like, what kind of politics are they dealing with out here?
Yeah, and you know what it is though? It's the game that changed. So back in the day, when we was young, it used to be rules to the game. Like
Rules to this
you,
shit.
you operate in the confines of the rules of the game. And so in prison, you operate in the confines of the rules of the game. This is the game. These are the rules. If you violate the rules, you know what's up. And it used to be like that on the street. It ain't like that no more.
No.
It just ain't. Like my partner, I put him on. Like I'm giving him free shit to sell and shit. We get bumped up, and he testified against me in court to send me to prison. Kind kind of part of the game is this, homie?
That's not part of the
Like
game.
I'm eating, so you gonna eat because that's part of the rules of the game. I'm your big homie. I'm eating. You gonna eat. Now, when we get locked up, ain't no telling, right? So the first thing you do is violate the rules of the game. Now, now it just ain't no rules. Everybody on this freelance shit, like they just out for themselves.
Right.
Everybody want to be rich. Every chick want to be a bad chick. Everybody want to have all of these things, and they feel like you know they gonna get them by any means necessary. And with some any means necessary shit, you start throwing out some rules. Like, oh, we selling dope together. Uh, Here go that rule. I'll tell on you if I get caught. We supposed to be partners for life. You, you, you got a better car than me. You got more money than me. Somehow you hustle harder than me. Up there go that rule. And by the time you get done, it ain't no rules. Cause you imagine if you in war, if you in combat, and they got rules of engagement. Could you imagine what would happen if they threw out the rules of engagement? Do you
Oh
you
man.
imagine what a war would look like? That should be a free for all.
Yeah. For real.
It
Like,
wouldn't even be an earth. Motherfuckers be done, man. Everybody be done nuked each other.
for
Like, man, I
real.
don't like what you said. I don't like what you said. It wouldn't even be no people left. And
Right.
that's why there's rules. And so when everybody got away from that, and then the institutions change, and the structures change, that's what we left to.
That's what we dealing with now. We
Ah,
dealing with
sure.
a structureless and a in my opinion, a purposeless existence in regards to the so-called game. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the purpose now? Well, I mean, because was the purpose really uh was the purpose really money? You know what I'm saying? Because for real, when you hear dude stories in prison, you realize that some of them felt like they had to go to prison as a rite of passage. It's like, even if it's just 2 or 3 years, I gotta go to prison and prove that I can make it. I gotta go to prison and prove that I'm not gonna be gay. I gotta go to prison and prove I ain't gonna get fucked. I gotta go to prison and prove I ain't gonna let nobody beat me up. prove I can fight, prove I'll stab you if I need to. I gotta have some gangster war stories when I get home. I'm gonna go home, kick up $1,000 worth of dust, and then bail, right? Just as some uh, rite of passage to be to be recognized on the street. So you go to prison to be recognized on the street. Is that the purpose now? That's
Everybody want to be hood famous.
everybody.
Everybody.
I don't want to be hood famous. I
Me
don't.
neither.
I don't
I'm
necessarily want to
good.
be famous. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
I
good.
I want to be able. I want to do it like you just said. I want to be able to feed the people, right? I want everybody to eat, and so my thing is when we get the money, feed them economically. But until then, I'm gonna feed them with information, wisdom, and knowledge. You know, 'cause that's really all I got to give. And so I'm gonna give all of the information I got, all of the knowledge I got, all of the wisdom I got, right? But so all of this is politics, right? So let's get into some diverse politics that we ain't hit on yet. So what so on my AM show, I was talking about the rights of felons and uh how it just don't seem right that upon my immediate release from prison, I'm I'm Joe Blow ex convict, right? And I just got out of prison, and a week later, I'm fortunate enough to have found a job. And then on my first paycheck, I see that there has been state and federal taxes taken out of my check. And then come election season, they tell me I can't vote because I've had my voting rights taken away and I can't vote until I'm off parole because I live in a state that says you have to be off of probation and parole before you get the right back to vote. And my immediate question as Joe Blow, ex convict, is how come I got the right to pay your ass taxes, but I don't have the right to go and cast a vote for the people that dictate how much my taxes are going to be?
Yeah, that's a that's a real issue in the United States. So, and if you look at it from that, if you look at it from their standpoint, one in three, one in three black men will be incarcerated within their lifetime, right?
Facts.
And so when you start to look at um, district lines and federal funding and legislation seats and things of that nature, it becomes one of those things to where, I mean, why let them vote? We can count them, but why let them vote? Because they count you in the census. The crazy thing is, the Census Bureau comes out and again they say, "Hey, we got to count you. It's 1,500 people in this institution. So whatever county that institution is in, they've got an extra 1,500 residents that really don't live there. They just
Right,
don't. But it helps them with legislation seats. More importantly, it helps them with some dollars.
right,
And so it becomes one of those things to where, much like pre-Civil War, where the fight was over the cotton industry and using black people as slave labor. Because I mean, if you really think about it, if you got 100 acres of cotton, you like, hey, who finna get out there and do them fields? It
right.
ain't finna be me. So
Facts.
you gotta have a labor force to go out and do that. So really, when you think about capitalism, I mean, this is just another form of capitalism. They lock
Right.
you up and they get paid, what is it, 27,800, whatever it is a year.
In Kansas,
Then
it's
they get to
32.
count you for the census and get federal funding. Then they get some legislation seats, which bring in more. Like locking people up is a cash cow. So why stop? And you locking up minorities. So what do it matter? It ain't like they like black people anyway. Just to be honest about it, like they ain't never treated black people with equality. Anytime you have to pass another law to say somebody is equal, some shit fucked up,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Because if it was all like that and everybody was equal, why would you have to pass a law to say that nah, they equal? And you continue to pass laws to make motherfuckers equal. There's a movie, it's called A Few Good Men. I don't know if you ever seen that shit with Jack
What?
Nicholson. I'm
One of my
saying,
favorite movies. What?
right. So what did he tell Jack Nicholson on the stand? This sums this whole shit up. He asked Jack Nicholson about his orders, and that motherfucker said, "No, my orders is crystal clear."
Mm-hmm.
Then why would you have to order Santiago not to be touched?
Not
If
to
your
be.
orders is crystal clear, why would you have to go back and order him not to be touched?
How did you
If
feel
we
like Santiago was in danger?
exactly. So if we equal, why would you have to pass a law to
Right.
say we equal?
Right.
It's because we not. We
Right.
ain't never been, and we ain't right now. And so when you start thinking about, imagine if they was just locking up a bunch of white kids.
Right.
Look how they treat the look at the difference between people who between crack and what they're doing with like fentanyl or opioids. The black people criminal, the white people got drug problems.
Right.
How can we help? How can we help little Billy get off of drugs? The black people, they like, nah, them niggas is criminals. Lock
Yeah, they
their ass
criminals.
up.
Lock them up. Yeah.
And so this is the reality. This is the reality that we live in today. It's all bullshit, but there ain't enough people saying like, "Hey, this is some bullshit. The way that y'all doing things is some bullshit." Back in the '60s, motherfuckers was marching and doing all of that. Like I often ask people, where the Martin Luther King Jr. today? Where the Malcolm X of today? Where the Huey Newton of today? Where these motherfuckers at? Ain't none.
You know
None.
why? You know why it ain't no Hueys? Why it ain't no Malcolms? Why it
I
ain't no
know.
Martins?
Listen, I'm talking to my people. They said, you keep on saying that shit, somebody gonna kill you. I said, damn, like that, huh? Like I can't get out here and tell you motherfuckers what's really going on, because what, somebody gonna try to take me out the game because I'm telling
Exactly.
the truth.
Exactly.
That's how we feel right now.
That's why you got your that's why you got your Al Sharptons and your cats like that stay in their pocket. You dig
Jesse
what I'm saying?
Jackson.
That's why you got your Jesses, you know what I'm saying, that stay in their pocket and stay just relevant enough to where nostalgic ass black people will still listen to them. But if you pay attention to their works, right, what do they really do? What are they really doing for the community? You know, so uh Jesse's still riding off the 60s, but it's no real black leaders that's gonna surface now because they've seen that if you lead and you get to talking and you get to educating the people, right, we're gonna knock you. We're gonna knock you. So it's like you have to be devoid of fear,
Right.
especially the fear of death. You know what I'm saying? Realize that it is man, look, one day you appeared and one day you're gonna be gone, right? The
On some
thing
Jimmy
is,
Hoffa shit.
real talk. You did. The thing is though, when you go, my whole thing, bro, like me and you talked about this before, but my whole thing, I'm not gonna live my life as a scared, purposeless Negro. You know what I'm saying? It's just not go. That's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if I die for something I believe in, I'm with it.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying? I'm with it. You know, I died with a purpose. I died with a purpose. And that's all anybody can ask is to die with a purpose. Because uh it was one of the last poets that said, uh blessed are those who struggle. Oppression is worse than the grave. Better to die for a noble course than to live like a slave. I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I refuse to live and or die like a slave. You know, so if I die, it's gonna be for a noble cause.
Oh yeah, and so we have been subjected to this type of tyranny since we landed on them boats from wherever it is that we came from, and since then, you know, especially if we talking about disenfranchisement, right? So back in the day, again, this happened to America. This ain't the first time. We ain't even the first people this happened to. This happened to American colonies and then American plantations when the king went ahead and started taxing shit that came to America, and they're like, well, we don't even have a say in what the fuck is happening. Like, how you just taxing us and and and
We don't have no representation.
and you don't have any representation. And so the thing it's the funny thing about America is the on some of the principles America was founded on, is some principles that they be fucking you over on now.
Every,
Like,
all day.
yeah, and you'll be like, wait, whoa, hold up. How is it that I gotta? First of all, you gotta sign up for the selective service, convicted felon selective service. They still got a draft, so you gotta sign up for the draft. They'll give you a student loan to tell you to pay the motherfucker back. Lord forbid you make too much motherfucking money because they sure gonna come look at. And if you don't pay them, they finna send. They fin to indict your ass like some Wesley Snipes shit and send you to prison,
To jail. Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And so all of these things happen to you, and again, they counting you in the census. They picking out legislation seats. They doing all of these things, right? For them to say vote, bro. No, you can't vote. Nah, you can sign up for the draft. You can go die for this motherfucking country, but you can't vote in this motherfucker. And more importantly, if you're talking about people's civil rights, no, you can't have no liquor license, bro. You can't even work at Quick Trip because they sell liquor. Because you can't get a liquor license to touch the motherfucker. We don't give a fuck if you changed your life and you feel like you want to be a politician. You committed a crime. So what? That crime was 17 years ago, man. Who really gives a fuck? You can't do that either. You want to be a lawyer? Oh well, fuck you. No to that too. But you damn well better pay some taxes.
Better pay the
You
taxes.
damn better fill out this census sheet so we can count your ass so somebody else could get some money.
Exactly.
And so when you start looking at some of these things, it becomes like, wait a minute, that is not what America was founded on. These are not the guiding principles. What happened to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness? What happens to everybody? Is supposed to have civil rights. Like, so your belief is if you make one mistake, then everything's out the window. You are no longer a citizen. Although you still have to perform civic duties, you still obligated to pay taxes, but you have no say. You cannot express your opinion in the voting booth. You can't, in some cases, can't go be a barber. Motherfucker, I can't cut hair, bro. I can't cut hair. I can't work at the barbecue shop because they selling beer. Really?
Hey man,
Really?
man. Hey, so I'm like this though. That shit don't surprise me. Like none of it shocks me, bro. Because I I understand the law, I understand the Constitution, and I understand the psychology and the mentality of the people that wrote all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the majority of them dudes were slave owners. When they got talking about that, all men are created equal shit, they meant it. They meant it.
White
All
man.
men, all men that they considered whole men will be created equal. So all wasps, all white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, that is who we are talking about when it comes to being created equal. But since black people was only 3/5 of a person, it
And
wasn't talking
Indian.
about us.
And
And
Indian.
Indian. Oh, but here's the cold thing. I was reading some shit the other day. Man, I thought that black people was the people that Americans hated worse than anybody. And that might not be true.
Oh, bro, they hated them Indians, bro.
Man, they hate it was a whole nother people. It was a whole nother people that came over here that was immigrants that they might have hated worse than they hated black people, Indians, and Asians. Man, they talk so bad about the Irish, it was crazy. They, I'm talking about they was like, listen, I read some stuff that said we would rather let the Negroes and the Chinese vote before we give the Irish the right to vote. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, so if you if you take history, not the watered down version of history that they provide via the school system, but if you
Right,
take a real history class and see a man, America been on some bullshit for so long. So in the
from the gate.
1880s, when they declared that slavery was done, and the French dedicated the Statue of Liberty because it's really that ain't even the whole name of the Statue of Liberty, but people don't even know that anyway. Um, and then after they found out that America wasn't going to relinquish its slaves that easily, and then they changed the meaning of the Statue of Liberty and what Ellis Island actually means, and then they added that inscription later because that's not really what was there. And for the immigrants, and so when they started to come, that oh, give me your poor, your tired, your hunt. So when they started to come and through New York, through the port, they lived as bad. And so this will tell you a lot about why they are pretty much removed and they look at black people a certain way. So they came here and they occupied slums and people treated them bad. Kind of why Costa Nostra became a thing for the mafia. It started with the Black Hand, and then and so they were treated like shit. And you'll hear stories of immigrants, how my grandfather's father came here and he worked in the such and such thing, and then he made a better life for us, and then we did the such and such thing. And slowly but surely they were adopted or assimilated, whichever one that you want to call, into white culture, much like why the eastern part of the world dislikes America, because people come over here and they have to assimilate to American culture. The Although African Americans or black people, whatever you want to call us, our journey was different than theirs. And
Right.
so when they look at us, even other, whether you Irish, German, wherever you came from in Europe, even Asian, you like, well, we had it bad too. What's your excuse, kind of thing? And it's like, there's a lot of different reasons on why you were able to easily assimilate into white culture. A, because you motherfuckers look white.
Right.
And through generations, your strong accent and strong European features of where you originally came from dissipated. And then your grandfather actually married a white woman from America, so you become diluted. I can't pass as white. Neither can you. Neither can a whole lot of us. So in that regard, it's easier for you to assimilate and amass some wealth and amass some power and then fit right into the fold. Because nowadays, with exception to maybe the Jewish community, which people still persecute to this day, uh, they really, unless you really like from Ireland or something, motherfucker, white people here ain't fucking with you. Like they figure you white too.
Right.
And as
Right.
long as they figure you white, you cool with them.
That's now. You know what I'm saying? Like now, if you look the part, you are you. If you look the part, you got the part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is how we get racked up so tough is because uh the part that they always want to place us in is the part of the criminal. You know, so you got, like you said, 1 in 3 black men is going to go to prison in their lifetime, but 1 in 6 Latinos is going to. You did. Now you juxtapose that with the 1 in 23 white men that go to prison, right? That's a big ass gap. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge gap in between the the three cats that got to decide, man, which one of us is going.
No, it's worse. It's really worse than that. I think people on the surface look at it and see those numbers, and you're absolutely correct. But it's worse when you have to take into consideration the the population disparity.
Exactly.
We represent maybe 12 to 13
Well,
percent of the population.
mhm.
White people represent like 78%. And so like when people are speaking, I'm like, yeah, but we only represent 12, 13% of the population. Then it becomes heavily distorted.
Right.
Right. And so when people say, well, look at these arrest numbers, they're pretty much even. And then I got to say, well, we only 13% of the population. You can go somewhere in America and it's all white. You cannot go and somewhere in America and it's all black.
Not
It just
nowadays.
doesn't happen. And so when you start looking, I don't know if you've seen this in the news. Um, in Nebraska, a guy was just arrested because a black dude was in the town, and he said he attacked him because he said this is an all white town and you don't belong here, and that was the basis of his attack. And of course, he got arrested and stuff. It was in the news, I think, yesterday or whatever it was. But and so I knew Dr. Carpenter, who was the superintendent at the Lee Summit School District, right? And so we talking one day, and he says, nah, Johnny, there's schools in Lee Summit that ain't got no black people. I said, what? Like the suburb of Kansas City? He like, there's no black people at all. And the schools that have black people in them, the other students was calling it Little Africa.
Wow.
So in itself, that tells you when you look, even when you look at Kansas City, how it's divided, and the rest of the and this is something that happens in pretty much the entire country. You got to start to think like, well, you know, we to a certain point, quote unquote, are free within the confines of somebody else's, as what somebody else defines as freedom, right? It's not our freedom. It's what somebody else has defined freedom for us. And so then it becomes incumbent upon us to define freedom for ourselves. Because freedom ain't, you know, hey, we gonna gerrymander this district. All you niggas gonna live in the same place. We gonna give y'all one grocery store and one bank. But more importantly, we're gonna give you a bunch of liquor stores
Right.
and some payday loan places, and we're gonna give you a title loan place too, so you
Right.
niggas can go ahead and take a loan on your car, so we can go ahead and get it and then sell it at auction at a later date.
Right.
Like, is this what freedom is? We're gonna give you a school district, man. Think about this. Some of the top school districts in the country is right here in Kansas City, right? But what's wrong with the Kansas City Public School District? You can drive 10 miles in a different direction and be in a great school system. But if you in a certain part of the city, which again, if you think about it, living in Lee Summit, living in Blue Springs, living in Overland
Yo,
Park, living in Shawnee, you could go. So they'll put you in the hood because a house in the hood, what you gonna pay? 30, 40, 50, maybe
for a five
80.
bedroom.
You go out there, 189,000, 250, 300, 500,000. And they know people can't afford to live out there. Not the people, the same thing that happened in that town. Boy, you ain't supposed to be here. It's the same thing. It's the same. It's the same thing. So when we talk about freedom, who defined this freedom? Are we really even free? Is this some construct that you motherfuckers have made up to so you can think that we free while you other motherfuckers go out and actually do shit in the world and we stuck in this little this little box that you've given us? Again, like we fight for scraps from a motherfucker's table all the time, all
Right.
the time. And so
So
it's bullshit.
it's all bullshit. But so in Swahili, it's a phrase that goes "uhuru si huru," right? It means freedom ain't free, you know. And I've oftentimes labeled it as I am not yet free, right? I'm liberated. I'm not free yet, free. Uh, like I heard a song. Meek Mill's got a song called "What's Free." He used that. "What's Beef" beat, right? And they Jay hits on some stuff about being free. Uh, that's I mean, it's wrong because freedom is not just how you free and you especially. I'm not even talking about myself, right? I'm talking about somebody who has never been to prison, never lost their rights. You still ain't free, you know. How you free and you cannot do really what you want to do without some sort of penalty, consequence. Like if you free, why would you pay taxes? If you're free, free people don't pay taxes. Free men, freemen don't pay taxes. You know, free people uh, are not told what to do. They tell people what they're gonna do, and it happens, right? So, um, hey, hit on before we shift topics. Hit on some of the uh, restorative processes as far as civil liberties that we're working on,
Well,
or that people really don't really know about.
I don't even so again, I had these conversations, and again, they was telling me about felony disenfranchisement. They started talking about housing and guns and licensing and things of that nature. And I'm like, first of all, if you look out the definition of disenfranchised, you don't have to be a felon to be disenfranchised, right?
Facts.
Like disenfranchisement has to do with your ability to vote. And some people, whether that's, ID laws, whether that's gerrymandering of districts, whether that's poll taxes, whatever you want to call it, that's disenfranchisement. Being a felon is just one way you're disenfranchised from voting,
Right.
right? More importantly, your civil rights are stripped away once you become a convicted felon. And so it goes to far, it's so far as to say, you know, jury duty, no, you're nah. like I said, certain licenses, whether that's insurance license, the ability to be bonded, uh, things liquor license. Um, I mean, I went before I started this other company. I wanted to buy a liquor store, and I couldn't even get the license to buy the liquor store because I was a convicted felon. Like, and I'm not an alcoholic or nothing. I just wanted to. I was like, when people happy they drink. When they sad they drink. I
Right.
mean, drinking ain't going away.
Right.
So why not on the liquor store? You can't do that. And more importantly, if you become involved in your community and you've changed your life, and no matter how many, you can help 1,000 different people and say, hey, I want to go in and I want to establish some change on the inside. You can't even run for political office, right? Because all of these things have been stripped away. And not even just for black people. I know a lot of white people who have felony convictions wanted to be able to go hunting with their son or their grandson or whatever that was. And they may not have committed a violent felony, but hell no, you can't go hunting because you can't have no damn gun because you've committed a crime. And so, it perpetually you have to go through in different. There's no uniform a law that says when someone is able to get their civil rights restored. And when we're talking about civil rights, I mean, that's one of the basic fundamental things in the United States that everybody's supposed to have, right? Everybody talks about civil rights. Like, oh, you violated my civil rights. They violated my civil rights. I got a civil right to do this. And it's like, nah, you committed a crime. You ain't got nothing. Zero, nada. Now, there are ways in which to restore your civil rights, and that's either through an expungement process or via a pardon. And I don't know if you just seen President Trump just pardon Michael Flynn probably an hour and a half ago. So again, he becomes someone who has his civil rights restored through a presidential pardon. And so those are really the only ways to have your civil liberties restored to you as a citizen. And that and saying like in 2 states you can vote whether you've been convicted of a felony or not. Like there's 2 states where you can be in prison and vote. Like and again, this isn't a uniform thing. And most people in the United States at some point, if you're not on lifetime probation or parole, will have their voting rights restored. But again, voting rights are just one aspect of having your civil rights restored. Because even if you can vote, you can never run for office.
Right.
You can never get a liquor license. You'll never go hunting with your grandson. None of that's finna occur. You can vote though, and that's good. But the larger picture is a restoration of your civil liberties and your civil rights that were taken from you upon a felony conviction. And so the ultimate goal in doing all this isn't just, and I don't say just as I'm taking felony disenfranchisement lightly. I'm saying that's the ultimate goal is to restore people's civil rights. If you want to be a barber, be a barber. If you want to be a doctor, be a doctor. If you want to be an accountant, be an accountant. If you need a job that's where you need to be bondable, you should be able to be bondable and vote
And vote.
and run for office if
Right.
that's what you feel like, and shoot a deer in the neck if that's what you feel like. You should be able to do all of these things. Giving somebody their right to vote back, cool. I love that. But what I want to vote, and maybe I want to run for office, bro.
Right. Right.
I might
Now.
want to serve on a jury. I've never had that experience. Look cool on TV, like, but you can't do any of that.
Right.
Like, so again, and I want people to really understand there is a huge difference between felony disenfranchisement and a restoration of your civil rights.
Right. Right. What a lot of people, what a lot of people may not know as to why it is so difficult to get your rights back for a lot of guys that go to prison. If you are incarcerated for more than 10 years, you become civilly dead. A lot of people really don't even know that. You become civilly dead if you do more than 10 years in prison. So, for all intents and purposes, after you get out after 10 years, they have to uh, revive you. They have to resurrect you, rather, So they have to resurrect all of your rights, and it may take a while to resurrect a dead motherfucker, you know. So uh that being what it is, man, we had like three topics we were supposed to hit, and we only hit one. I got a whole nother show too. Check this out. Uh what you got going on later on, man? You can slide back into the PM edition.
Hey, so listen, I did all my orders with it, whatever, got through with that. I got a meeting with the St. Louis people at 6 o'clock, so
Right.
I'm gonna holler at them.
Okay.
But what I really was gonna do was start cooking, right? So I took out these pots and did all this because I was about to throw some greens on it. So the water main broke for my apartment complex, so it ain't even no water, bro.
What?
Ain't no water. Right when I was about to put these greens on, ain't even no water.
So water is kind of critical to a lot of different shit, but especially cooking. Water is critical to cooking greens.
Oh yeah, yeah. I need that water. They
You need
said it's
water.
on. They said it ain't gonna be that long, which I know means it's gonna be a couple of hours.
All right. So my show don't start till 8:30.
I'll be good. I got a meeting right after the St. Louis thing for about a half an hour, so that'll take me to 7:30. Yeah, because I really want to talk about entertainment and not these rapping motherfuckers. I don't know, and if you got some time today, watch that nigga David Chappelle. Have you seen that? It came out
Which
yet.
one?
Unforgiven.
It, Unforgiven. Nah, I ain't seen it.
It came out yesterday. Hey, watch that day. I I watched it last night. I was like, you know what? So I'm gonna tell you how hard it was. So I'm like, I got Hulu and all these other shits and Amazon Prime and all that shit, right? So I'm like, man, I'm about to get HBO Max. Like, I want to watch The Wire and The Sopranos and all that old shit.
Yeah.
I watched Dave Chappelle. I said, nigga, fuck HBO, bro. That's how hard that shit. Man, nigga, fuck them. I ain't giving them none of my money. Fuck y'all. Watch that Dave Chappelle. It ain't even, bro. It ain't even like a comedy like normally you'll see. He talking about how they. Because if you didn't know, you got Netflix.
Yep.
You know the Dave Chappelle show ain't on there no more.
Nah, I did.
Yeah, they took it off like 2 days ago.
Really? Huh.
Yup, Dave Chappelle got on there and started clowning
I'm
motherfuckers.
about to as soon as we wrap here, I'm about to go in here, get me something
Watch,
to eat, and watch that. What's this
watch,
called? Unforgiven.
watch that shit.
All right,
Like,
check it out.
yeah,
So I'm gonna send you another invite to pull in the at the 8:30 show, right? Uh, but I'll hit you. I'll hit you up off the air, and well, rather hit me up when you get done with your meetings, and we'll link in. We'll link in for the 8:30 show.
yeah. And in the meantime, watch that.
I'm about to go, bro. I'm about to go watch it. I'm about to go
Yeah, I
watch
think it's only on Instagram. Like, and he only been on Instagram like 4 times since he had Instagram. So it ain't like he on there all the time.
it. Yeah.
But it's the very first one, the one that they did yesterday or the day before yesterday. And that shit is like, wow.
Unforgiven. I'm about to go check it out. I fuck with Dave Chappelle. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
he
I
the
fuck with
shit,
Dave Chappelle.
but he tell you he tell you his situation in life and what happened and why they canceled, why he didn't do Dave Chappelle's show, and why it ain't on Netflix no more, and how you feel about HBO and Viacom.
Okay. Okay. I'm about hey, like for real, I'm about to go check it out right now.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
about to go
check this
check it
shit
out.
out.
Hey, so to all my viewers, man, this has been a special. Is it still afternoon or is it evening yet? It's 5 o'clock, bro.
Yeah, it's getting into the evening.
All right, so this has been a late afternoon, early evening episode of Notoriously Opinionated Man. It's been your man, Nagels the God, with my dude, Johnny Waller, man. We're gonna pick this back up on the prime time edition of Notoriously Opinionated, man. Catch everybody later, man. Peace. We out.
Yeah.